Yeah. Hey there, guys. Today is Tuesday. It's February, or today is Monday, February the 6th, or whatever day it is. I don't really care. I'll have to go back. It's February the 6th, 2024. And it is probably after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm currently out for a walk right now, trying to get back into a routine. It's kind of hard to do when you're walking on snow out here on the trail, and you run the risk of getting run over by someone riding a snowmobile, because that seems to always happen when winter arrives. So as you can already tell, it looks like snowmobile tracks. People have been riding their snowmobiles on here recently. Currently out by myself today, just not only to get some fresh air and get just a little bit of an exercise, but it's also a chance for me to clear my head, get rid of all the negativity of life overall. But that's not necessarily what this video is really about. Part of the reason why I'm actually doing a video like this is because you guys are probably wondering, with my previous video that I put up, I want to say less than a week ago, there is no outro in my video anymore. And you're probably wondering, why isn't there an outro anymore? What happened? Did you lose the vid? Or did you just decide not to put it up? Well, I made the decision when I put the video out not to add an outro, because it's a little bit of work, and nobody really cares if I do an outro, intro, whatever. There may come a point in time in the future that I may decide, maybe I won't even bother putting in an intro either. Oh, something else I want to... This little stick, the tip of it spray painted in pink. And the word on there said share. I guess it's a sign that because there are people like me who use the trail this time of the year, and people are using snowmobiles here, it's an indication that people like me and snowboarders or snowmobilers, we do need to share the trail, and we do need to be very careful if we do use the snowmobile. Thankfully, I don't actually drive the snowmobile, so I don't worry about stuff like that, but I know that there's people out there in the city that do drive a snowmobile, and some of them are careful, some of them are not, and it's both our jobs to make sure that we look out for one another. Which kind of gives me a bit of a throwback to when I was 5 years old. Or maybe I was under 5. I don't remember. It's been a long time. My step-grandfather, when we were in Newfoundland and we were moving out of there to move to this particular part of the country, my grandfather, who unfortunately passed away back in 2007, November to be precise, he had a snowmobile that we actually called the Skidoo. Why we call it a Skidoo, I have no clue. But my grandfather at the time had it, and he wanted to take me for a spin on it. me being a curious and careless kid back at the time, or during that time, hence that's why I got a little scar on my chin, but I'll get to that in just a second. But I got on the skidoo without anybody watching, and I pressed a button and the skidoo started to move, and somehow it hit a tree. And next thing I remembered, I fell face first onto the snow. I was wearing glasses at the time. My winter coat that I wore during that time was torn up. My face was bloody. There was a blood spot on one of my glasses. And I started screaming. I was in real pain, badly injured. My mother found out what had happened. She rushed me to the hospital. And what happened next ultimately scared me so bad that, or it hurt so bad that I started wailing. It was really painful. I was pinned down to an operating table. I had the sheet over my face with this hole about this big, right here on my chin. And then next thing I knew, I actually felt like what I thought were, it was so painful. And I was like, oh my gosh. Then I had a Band-Aid over my chin, which meant I later discovered that I had my chin split open from that accident that I had on the snowmobile. My step-grandfather back then was very upset. He was absolutely, he was really sad about the whole thing. At the time, I thought maybe it was because I destroyed his snowmobile at the age of 5, but it turns out he was really upset that I got hurt, more so than what happened with his snowmobile. And he felt bad about what happened, but my mother assured him that it wasn't his fault. Things like this do happen, no matter how careful you are with children, especially with me, because that's basically what had happened. But fast forward 35 years, I'm 40 years old now. I still think about it. I still think about it at times. I've been getting, even now at 40 years old, I still get flashbacks. And it kind of gave me, there had been times where I thought about it, and it kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I would have to say that I had a little bit of a panic attack when I thought about it. When you go through something traumatic like that, you don't forget about it. It doesn't matter how old you were when it happened. You can't forget about stuff like that. Because what happened to me back then was so bad, so traumatic, that ever since that day, I would not want to get on a snowmobile ever in my life. And I still don't want to go on it, which is pretty sad. And I think I see somebody over there. Sorry, I had a little minor interruption, but that's quite all right. So yeah, that's pretty much my throwback story. There's not much really to talk about in that regard. Bottom line is, what happened back then when I was a kid, obviously, it happened. There's no going back in time and trying to change it now. I I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a throwback to let you guys know a little story about what happened to me as a child and whatnot. As you can already tell, this section of the trail, and I want to change topics here, this section of the trail right here has been plowed quite professionally, which is kind of nice. It's actually good because I'm actually having an easier time walking, but it's also bad because if it rains, this is going to turn into a rink. And people working there. One thing I do want to mention regarding this time of the year, aside from not having as much snow, to having a portion of the trail plowed really good and the rest not so much, it is surprisingly warm. It almost feels like early spring, and it's the first week of February. And I was hoping it'd be a lot colder than this, but obviously not. I know in some parts of eastern Canada, Nova Scotia had quite a bit of snow, so did PEI and Cape Breton. Not certain if they still are going through it right now. I know they had a bit of a state of emergency. And I did mention to some people in my family that I wanted a good walloping of snow here too. But it didn't happen, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. At least not this week anyway, but who knows? Anything is possible. Expect surprises, but it is, with regard to the temperature out here, never mind the precipitation, but with regard to the temperature out here right now, it almost feels like 5 degrees, maybe a little bit lower. Definitely not winter-like weather at all, and it is pretty surprising. I know last summer I did bitch a little bit about the heat being so bloody hot, but beyond that, for the most part, I would say it was reserved for the month of July, and although August was pretty bad as well, it turned out it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I remembered a few months ago, back in August of last year, I took this very trail for the first time. All these trees were covered in leaves, so there was plenty of shade, which is a good thing. But considering that it was supposed to be one of the hottest days of the year, well, in August anyway, it was surprisingly cool and it was comfortable, and I was able to walk on this trail without any issues. And with regard to now that we're halfway through, well, a little more than halfway through winter, it is surprisingly warm to the point where I kind of want to take my jacket off. Not that I want to do that, but whatever. But otherwise, it's actually quite nice. It makes for good walking weather, that's for damn sure. If you're not big on the heat, or, sorry, scratch that. If you're not big on the cold, the kind of temperature that I'm dealing with out here right now, it's actually not too bad. Although I would want it to be colder. Certain sporting events, I can't remember what it was, but there was one sporting event that was supposed to happen this year. It got canceled due to how mild it's been this whole entire winter. We've had a few cold days, 19, 20 degrees below zero, but not cold enough to have any part of the sporting event or hosting it or starting it, whatever the situation is. So yeah, It sucks, but you know, safety has to come first above everything, especially when you're dealing with climate change and whatever else. Sometimes in this situation, when you're dealing with warmer than normal temperatures for this time of year, you kind of have to learn to adapt. And that's not something I'm prepared for, especially in the summertime, if you know what I mean. And I'm not a fan of summer. I have to be honest, I never cared too much for the heat. Never cared for it at all. As a matter of fact, I probably never will care about it, because summer is not my favorite time of the year anyway. With the exception of maybe going to the beach or just go somewhere where there's water. That would be the one time I'd enjoy summer. Beyond that, nah, don't care for it too much. But that's basically, this is a good scene right here. So that's the update, the only update that I have for right now. Doing a little throwback, and that's basically it. I'm actually going to get out and enjoy my walk, or finish my walk, and I will hopefully get these videos uploaded soon. I can't promise that I'm going to upload them today, but they will be uploaded one way or the other. So I'm going to end this video right here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.